Welcome folks! Are you new to laser engraving, cutting? Then you're in luck, this video is for you. We are going to be talking about 3 tips that might help you save a lot of money and frustrations down the line. I'm going to actually throw in a 4th bonus tip in here, so be sure to stay till the end. Alright, for tip number 1, depending on your budget and size of your shop or your space that you're going to be working in with your laser, you may not have the room for something this size or the budget, and you don't want to spend all that money right up front, and find out that laser cutting edging is not for you. So one of the things I would suggest, and it's just my own personal view, is maybe start with a smaller diode type laser. These lasers can be, well, you can go on the really cheap end, but you might have a lot of frustrations if you go too cheap. You might want to go mid-range for the diode type laser cutters, and that is something that you can use in your home on a desktop. You can learn everything you need to learn for laser cutting, etching, and engravings. Now, I did say it's going to be just 3 tips, but I'm actually going to add some sub-tips to these. So for this one, when it comes to if you do buy a diode laser, just be sure to remember that most of these lasers do not come with an enclosure. So that means when you're cutting and engraving, all the fumes, the smoke off of that, because it is burning material. It's burning, most of the time it's wood, but it could be burning plastics, acrylics, and things like that if you're into that kind of stuff. And that does release a lot of fumes. And it doesn't come with an enclosure. Sometimes they'll have an enclosure as an added feature that you can buy. Or you can just make your own, of course, but you just have to make sure that you put that into your calculations for your budget and time that it's going to take to make that enclosure and so forth. So just to keep that in mind, because the other option, again, instead of going with the diode, you can go to a CO2 laser or a fiber laser, which again, the footprint is not very big, but then your budgets are going to go up a bit higher. And at least with the CO2 lasers on the higher ends, they will come with an enclosure and a fan that you can exhaust out. Or then, of course, you can also budget way up and buy one of those filter boxes as well, which is pretty much the same price as a laser sometimes. So again, that's another topic altogether. We're not going to go too deep into this one, but yeah, just to keep that in mind, I would suggest if you just want to learn about it and see if it's something that you'd want to get into, then yeah, the diode laser might be the way to go just to try it out. All right, so we move on to tip number 2, and that's the software. So many of these entry-level type of lasers usually will come with some type of software that you can use with their laser. In most cases, it's recommended that you don't use those software because a lot of times they're limited. Now, there are some in there that are quite good and can do a job really well, and that'd be fine. So it really varies. You'd have to do your research, and depending on which tool you're planning on buying, is that a lot of times those softwares are really garbage, and the best thing to do is probably go right straight to a Lightburn, and I'll put a link down below. It's not an affiliate link, but there's a link down below. Try Lightburn out, check it out. It's so easy to use, and it's going to save you a lot of frustrations. And then it also will be able to be transferred if you do plan to level up with different lasers. Lightburn usually is compatible with all lasers. So check it out. Go straight to Lightburn. You won't regret it. All right, so for tip number 3 is about the actual file that you use to do your designs or cut your designs in whatever material you're cutting it in. We suggest, if you're starting out and you're not too familiar with design software, and just buy the software outright. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of stores online, especially like on Etsy, and again, I'll leave a link down below, where people make these designs and make all the files that you just have to upload to your Lightburn, in my case, and start cutting. Like, it's that quick. And these files are not that expensive. So you pay for it, you download it, you upload it to your Lightburn, and you start cutting. Within 5 minutes, you've got your designed piece out, and you're ready to paint it or stain it, whatever you need to do, and have it out the door. So if you're really wanting to, speed up the time on making stuff, and you don't want to waste time doing the designs and stuff like that, that is probably the fastest way, easiest way. Again, just to get your feet wet with the use of the laser. That's, yeah, definitely the fastest way to do it. Of course, if you're comfortable with using designing software, like people will use Inkscape or Illustrator, Photoshop, we use Canva most of the time for our designs. So and that's another one. Again, we'll leave a link down below. We do have an affiliate link, of course, no extra charge to you. There is a free version. That's how we started out. We used the free version for a year or two before we decided to go with the paid version. And with the free version, you can pretty much do everything you need to do. It's just there's a few features that we needed with the paid version that just made our life a whole lot easier. So check it out. If you're wanting to make your own designs, I'd say that's where you go. Make your designs and get to it. But if you're not comfortable with that side of things, it's not a deal breaker, because other people love doing it. They don't mind charging only like $2, $3, sometimes $7 for a whole bundle. And you're going to be, that pays itself with one piece most of the time, or not, not even one piece. It pays itself really quickly. Instead of getting the Starbucks coffee, you can just get the files and you're going to be starting your business. So that's tip number 3. Now for, I guess, tip number 3A is, if you don't want to go buying stuff, that's fine, off of the Etsy or any other stores. A lot of times, even the company that you buy your laser from, they might have free files online that you can use and download and practice with as well. So, that's an option too, just if you want to really really try it out quickly and try to understand your laser. Just using the files that they provide can get you going really quickly. All right, that brings us to our bonus tip, which is air. If there's one thing we learned after a lot of trial and error, is that air is very important. And I mean air in the sense of compressed air that goes to the laser point, that blows debris out of the way, the burnt material out of the way. It saves a lot of issues with burn marks, with catching on fire and that kind of stuff. So make sure there's enough air going to your product. It just makes the cut so much cleaner and faster as well. And so when we bought this machine, we just purchased this off of eBay, and we got this pump with it. It's just like a little air pump, which is essentially like an aquarium pump. So not very much air coming out. I mean, it worked, but definitely not sufficiently enough to really do a nice job, a nice clean cut on our laser cuts. So we purchased a compressor. This one, not very expensive. It's just we went with this one here. I think I got that in view. This little compressor. One of the reasons, because it's not very noisy compared to a lot of other compressors, and I needed to have it close so I can actually do the dial. Eventually I'll make a proper setup so that the compressor can be somewhere else, and I just have to turn the dials right at the laser here. But for now, we knew we had to put it really close, so we went with that compressor, and it made a big difference. And big difference. And you can control how much air you want. Sometimes if you have to do a deeper cut, we'll give it a little bit more air. When we're doing engraving, we can do it a little less. And it's just been saving us a whole lot of time and frustration cleaning up, or it doesn't cut right through because there wasn't enough air. So there you have it, folks. 3 quick tips. I'm glad you came. And if you like this video, please give us a big like down below and subscribe to our channel to stay in touch and see what more videos we can. We do hope to get into some more deep diving on specific subjects, such as, let's say, light burn, the use of light burn, or how to use the laser. We will get into that. We're just trying to get through a lot of projects these days, and so I just wanted to at least give you the starters out there, because we've had some friends and family that are asking questions, and these are common questions that come up, so hopefully it gives you an answer. All right, talk to you later. Bye.